All right. Hey, good morning, Patriots. How are we doing today on this Friday morning? 6/18/21. So I'm going to come to you this morning. I've got a lot of stuff I want to share, but the main thing I want to share is about a new virus, if you will. It's not the type of virus that you would most likely think I'm going to talk about. It's a virus that's been creeping up now for quite some time. And it needs to be addressed. As I've told many of you a few days ago, I reached out and good morning, Nancy, Katrina, and for Dallas, I am a rep for Act for America, and I was looking through what they stand for, and it was exactly what I've stood for forever. And it's another one of those situations where at the right time. And this virus, though, some of you probably are well aware of this, and then there's others that'll hear this and go, what's he talking about? So I want to start off with the 1619 agenda. The 1619 agenda is a major virus, and it is something that the left is pushing. And it's part of Biden's bigger plan when it comes to how he looks at America. See, Biden is not an American first president. Well, he's not even a president. We all know that. But what I mean is, in the eyes of the public, the public that actually believes in him, which is very few, he's getting them to buy into this 1619 agenda. And if you look up, I'm not going to get into it right now exactly what that is, but if you look it up, you will see why that is something that has been like sneaking its way into everything that we're about. And it started a long time ago. And then with the abomination of desolation that came into play back in 2008, that really got it rolling. So that's one thing that we're going to stand up to. We're also, obviously, you've been hearing more about critical race theory. We're standing up to that. We're rejecting, of course, Marxism, which not coincidentally, the critical race theory is a Marxist mindset. So look this up also. The Democratic Reconstruction. See, they want to totally change the Constitution. Some of them have boldly come right out already and said this, but others are kind of like trying to slip it through. So don't listen to this nonsense, because that's the things that made America great is the Constitution of the United States, is the Bill of Rights, is celebrating July 4th, recognizing July 4th as a very important day. And you do not need permission from somebody called Biden to be able to go and celebrate with your family. Okay, let's make sure we all know that. I'm looking at this. This is like a list of things that we're going to be doing. And if there is anybody that would like to get involved as far as this 1776 strong movement with Act for America, just reach out to me. If there's anybody in the Dallas market, that'd be even better. But it doesn't have to be in the Dallas market. We're just looking for real Americans. And again, I'm going to say bluntly, if you support the 1619 agenda, if you support critical race theory, if you support Marxism and socialism, I'm not looking for you. I'm not looking for you at all. I'm looking for real Americans. Real Americans know what made America great, and none of those things made America great. There's no question about that. Now, here's some of the things we do support. Obviously, our shared value as Americans, our Constitution and Bill of Rights. You always hear me talking about that. Our founders, military, and our flag. That's what got me banned, of course, for a week, our flag. The America First motto, conservatism and traditional values. The nuclear family. A lot of people will ask me, well, what is the nuclear family? Look it up if you want, but essentially it's talking about the core, a core. In other words, a mom, a dad, having two genders. That's what we support. We don't believe in 3 genders, 6 genders, 8 genders. We don't believe in that. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what our country was founded upon. And our right to assemble and speak freely. Now, that doesn't mean riot, because they try to turn that into saying that that's what they're doing. No, they're rioting. They're tearing stuff down. They're desecrating statues, and they're doing all this. And that is not what the right to assemble and speak is about. That's not what that's about. But see, they will absolutely twist it and make it look like they're following, but they're not. And Biden, if you noticed last year, during all the corruption that took place with all the cities being essentially burned down, the left was like, hey, let them go ahead. You know, you ever hear of Maxine Walters? Or not Maxine, my mind just went blank. But you know who I'm talking about, that witch that's out in California? That one is the one, along with Pelosi, which, by the way, I have found out that they are legitimate witches, okay? But that's for another call. But what I really want you guys to understand here is that to stand up as an American, it takes all of us. That's been an issue that I see, is a lot of people think that, you know, X is going to do it. That's not, don't ever say that's not my job. Don't ever say that's not my job, because if you are an American and you are a patriot, it is your duty and your responsibility to stand up and let people know that you're not going to bow down to this crap that they're throwing at us. You know, I've said this many, many times. When I stood, and at the time, in all honesty, I think I was 24. As a 24-year-old, when I stood up in Jacksonville, Florida, because that's where it took place. When I stood up in Jacksonville, Florida, and I raised my right hand and said, I support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, I meant it. I didn't know exactly what I was going to be dealing with. I never thought that we'd have our biggest enemy would be the president, or the one that's supposed to be the president of the United States. But that's what we have here. And as I've found out and done more research, we've had a lot of presidents, Republicans too, by the way. Matter of fact, one of the most evil Republicans that has ever walked the planet was George Bush. So for those that think that I'm strictly a Republican, you're sadly mistaken. I'm an American. I'm a patriot, but I am not a Republican. I voted for Republicans, and many times I made a mistake, but it was a choice of the lesser evil, so to speak. So what do we got to do to take our country back? Now, this may not go well with some of you. Maxine Waters, there you go. Thank you. To take our country back, it's not up to, I paused a long time in there. It's not up to President who? I'm not even going to say the name, because you know who I'm talking about. But a lot of people think that Trump's the one that's going to take our country back. It's going to be us. It's going to be us. Too many of you are living and dying whether or not President Trump is in the White House. Which, by the way, forget about him living in the White House when he comes back, because that's no longer going to be the White House. I've been saying this now for a while. But guys, you got to start living your life and quit hiding out in your house and you know, living in fear, living like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Do you realize that when you do that, fear is literally killing you? It really does. It kills you. Why do you think it says in the Bible 365 times, fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not? I have found over the last 20 years that Christians are some of the worst at actually following through with what the word says. I've talked with, and I've been a coach now for 20 years. So I've coached Christians. I've coached people that are not Christians. And I can tell you, usually the ones that are not the Christians will actually take action. And you want to know why? It's a mindset. Everything's a mindset. But you want to know why a Christian oftentimes won't take the mindset of this? They think God's going to do it for them. And I ain't joking. You cannot believe how many people I reach out to, and they say, well, John, if it's in God's timing, or they'll say, well, John, I'm waiting on God. And I'm going, wait a minute. He's waiting on you. If you've never read the last book, it clearly says it is finished. So he's done everything for you. It's time for you to do something. And that leads me to my next subject, and that is this. Tonight, we have the Patriot Business Presentation Overview. I would recommend that if you've been on one before, you need to be on this one, okay? Because tonight, we're not only going to be sharing the presentation, I've got a very, very special guest, but also I'm going to get into something else tonight. Antoinette is actually going to, today's her birthday, as most of you know, but she is going to get into the dynamics of QuickClip. And you cannot say that you didn't know about this, because this is going to separate us. We're already beyond anybody else right now, but this is going to leave everybody else in the dust. And I know some people don't like hearing that, but I would just tell you right now that with what we're doing, nobody else can even touch. But yet some people are still sitting back and waiting. You know, and I've often said that I don't know why you're waiting. What are you waiting for? You know? Do you think you've got everything under control? You might want to think again. I just received just last night while I was sleeping. I do sleep occasionally. Just last night, I got more confirmation that in the United States of America, Biden has already got it set up that within the next 12 months. Now, you may say, well, that's 12 months. You know how fast 12 months goes by? Within the next 12 months, if everything that he wants to happen and his left, you will be 100% required to take the jab if you want a job. Just like vaccine passports. They already have started. Now, you probably haven't heard all about this, but it's 100% guaranteed. This is what we're looking at. And I already know, I'm not even going to look at any comments here, but somebody's going to say, yeah, but when Trump comes back, too many of you are living on that mindset. Because my question is, I believe he is, okay? I still believe he is, and I'm not backing down from that. But what if he doesn't? Now what? You just going to roll over and play dead, or maybe roll over and die? Not me. I take my future into my own hands, and I'm very proactive. That's one of my favorite words, is being proactive. Too many people are reactive. They wait, and then they go, oh, crap. And I've seen so many good people get run over like a squirrel that goes to the middle of the road. You got to make a decision. Now, I bet you this, by the way, this is all the stuff on Act for America. So when I started off, most of you were probably like, yeah. And then I switch over to this other, and it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm telling you that you've got to learn to stand up. If you are a traditional business owner, you need to listen to what I'm saying, because those are going away real quick. If you are a online business owner, I would say you have a much better chance, but there's a lot of things that are happening in that market too. It's another reason why I'm asking you to reach out to me today, because you know what's been happening the last few weeks on Friday nights? Our presentation starts, and then people right around that time are sending me, can you send me the code? Can you send me the code? By that point in time, I'm not looking in my messenger anymore. So if you want this code for this evening, please reach out to me in the next few hours. I'll make sure I get it to you, and you will be very glad you did. I'm already in talks with another lady that I'll be talking with this afternoon about coming on in another week or so coming up, who is just an amazing lady, and we're going to have her on as a guest. We've got so many people that are seeing the vision, and not just here in the United States. We've got people in Africa. We got people in Australia. We got people in the United Kingdom. We got people all over the place that are saying, John, send me more information on this Patriot Business Network. Guys, you don't want to miss this. I promise you. You will look back and go, dang, I missed it. You don't want to be that one. Now, the last thing I want to tell you guys is this. And this is a sad thing. Biden's already got a plan to vaccinate, which that's not even the word. It's basically inject small children at ages under 5 years old now. Under 5. And it looks like they're going to start doing it, especially on the West Coast first. They're going on the West Coast, and it's going to move that way. And so what I'm telling you, if you've got grandkids, make sure you're not letting your grandkids talk to your parents, because sometimes the parents are not getting it. Yesterday, I also learned, I forgot to tell you guys this, but yesterday, if a child, I forgot, it's in Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's in Pennsylvania, where a child can basically overrule, if they're 12 years old, I believe it was, they can overrule the parent. They can overrule the parent and say, no, I want, and you know what they're going to incentivize them with? Well, you know, the kids, the stuff the kids want. Which, by the way, all of this, in case you didn't know, all of this is talked about in the Bible. Did you know that? It talks about in the last days that kids will rise up against their parents. This is another part of what they're doing. It's called the New World Order. But we don't have to give in to this. There's a lot of people that say, well, you know, that's just it. I guess I have to deal with it. No, you don't. No, you don't. All right, let me recognize who's here. We have Nancy Mitchell. I believe she was on first. Katrina Bean, Richard Scott, Cheryl Megahan, Linda G. Hendricks Ross, Kathy Adams, Crystal Rye, Laura Hill Shaper. Let's see, Cheryl Trenery. I apologize if I butchered that last name. Alice Ewings, Marcy Curtis, Kathy Surgis. Let's see, Tammy Holland, Thelma. Oh, my good friend Thelma. Thelma Flees Dasho. That's a great patriot from Michigan right there. Let's see. Let's see. Marcy Curtis, Margaret Peterson, Susie Hicks. Thank you. I'll make sure I let Antoinette know. Cheryl Kimbrough Bell, Howard Clapp, my buddy Howard. We have Gail Dawson. What timeline am I, Gail? We are here on the Central. Like right now, it's 10 minutes after 9. So it's 10 minutes after 9. And by the way, that's I believe Gail is one of the people I've been chatting with about the and I could be wrong because there's more than one Dawson out there, but that name rung a bell with me. We got some big stuff happening in Africa. So with our Patriot Business Network. So if you know people in Nigeria or South Africa, you definitely want to get them in contact with me. Okay, so let's see here. Lizzie D, Tammy Holland, Mark Williams. Okay, so again, the Patriot Business Network overview tonight. And I asked Antoinette this morning, you know, I said to her, you know, today's your birthday. What would you like to do? And she said, you know, I'd really like to talk about Quick Click tonight. And I'm like, oh, you'd be perfect for that. So you don't want to miss it. That's tonight. It is at, let me think here, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. If you don't already have the code, make sure you reach out to me. You'll thank me later. God bless you. God bless America. Go out and make it a great day. Remember, you're the only one that can do that. We'll talk to you later.